Okay, it's you have to pass through some kind of difficulty to shapen you to who God wants you to be. So I think it's in line. As Ghana is celebrating its 68th anniversary, Ghanaians, whatever blow you ought to receive to make Ghana a 60. If Ghana was a human being, he would have been retired.
Retired 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
It would have been 8 years in. When you actually go into pension, there are different stages they pass through. So there's the honeymoon phase, like where you get excited after being on pension. Right now, Ghana should be getting into the disenchanted phase where they've seen all what they have to see in pension, and then I don't know, maybe trying together to share for their children.
Exactly.
But, hey, our properties over here in Ghana, our resources being put to the use that they are supposed to be put to, and all discussion for another day. But yes, Ghana is turning 68 in a couple of days, and then we are excited, aren't we?
Oh, we are. You see them in our subsequent productions. So just stay glued to your seat. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. We are also on CLOG TV channel 184. We are here in the ministries in Accra. So if anything, you can pass through our TV station and advertisements and all that. We are here to receive you. Up next is the online newspaper print review. Please stay.
Hi music lovers, we are the CLOG Band.
So get ready for an unforgettable music experience on our upcoming show, Happy Hour with the CLOG Band.
We are bringing you a night filled with electrifying tunes, good vibes, and a whole lot of fun.
Whether it's singing along, dancing, or just soaking in the atmosphere, we have something for everyone. Expect surprise performances, exclusive behind-the-scenes stories.
Happy Hour with the CLOG Band.
Sing.
I don't wanna.
Sid.
How have you been?
Okay. You?
Good. Better.
Sloane's getting impatient. They gave you a month off. It's been 3.
I know they sent you here to bring me back. I'm sorry. I just can't yet.
My name is Sidney Bristow. 7 years ago, I was recruited by a secret branch of the CIA called SD6. I was trained as a spy, warned not to tell anyone what I did.
Any aliases, where he lives, where he works, the type of coffee he drinks, the whole deal.
The device that you withdrew from Taipei last month remains in analysis.
So then who designed it?
A man named Milo Rambaldi, excommunicated for heresy, sentenced to death for suggesting that someday science would allow us to know God.
Tell ourselves to do the right thing, meanwhile the bad people keep coming back.
About a decade ago, a pool of agents went freelance. Russian, Libyan, Chinese, Ethiopian.
The Alliance of 12.
What do you know about them?
They're an enemy of the United States. They're mercenaries. They're dangerous.
SD6 is not a Black Ops division of the CIA. SD6 is a branch of the Alliance. You work for the very enemy you thought you were fighting.
It's impossible.
I'm the big fat panda.
The whooshy finger hold. Oh, you know this hold.
Did not see that coming.
Choose someone else. Please.
What's that? What are you doing?
Painkillers.
Oh, for your leg.
No, because they're yummy. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too stoned to.
I need my gun, Kane. I need the gun. You will have the gun as soon.
This is how we do. M-I-M-I, Divalish, aka, you know the name?
Ghana music has really been put in, has really been doing great stuff.
Whenever Mr. Drew's on stage, it's a blast.
Industry. From viral movements to hottest celebrity stars, we've got you covered. Have questions? We want to hear from you. Your voice matters. Let's vibe together.
I got a secret. Do you wanna hear it? You're always on my mind. Been telling my friends that.
The family is one of nature's masterpieces.
Come on, Coach. You gotta take the kid out.
You wanna take him out? How about I take you out?
Honey, they're 0-6. Let's take it down a notch.
This is the story of three very unique families.
Oh, this must be your dad. Her dad? Yeah. No, that's funny. Actually, no, I'm her husband. Don't be fooled by the,
Luke, just shut me. They're only plastic BBs.
Buddy, uncool.
Excuse me, but this baby...
If you just tuned in, this is Coco Digest Morning Show, and this is Ghana Month. It's an official welcome and introduction into the month. This beautiful apparel and appearances, what you be seeing today and more of the days to come. This section is the online newspaper print review. I have with me Peter Insia and Nanayao Asari to help me with the deliberations on what is trending and happening in Ghana. Guys.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
No,
Morning.
hey, Akwaba. Mache.
Yes.
Mejosu.
Yena.
Yenya. You've lost your roots.
So we started and you asked me how much it's called.
Yeah. You've now remembered.
It was Opepong and Opepong or Obenem.
Yeah.
Opepong
I think he started
January.
counting from January.
Yeah, so I think it's Obenem.
Obenem, you think?
Yes, it is Obenem.
It's the third month. I don't want to mention the last month.
It is Obenem.
Okay, mine is Ochokrikri, as I said earlier, and it's about the sunny weather that we normally experience in the month of March. All right, so I want to start a bit on something. We know this year we are not doing the usual parading at the Independence Square. It's a bit different, but I want us to have some reflection of what used to be, and therefore I would want to start with you, Nanaya.
Okay,
what has been your match?
So match in history for me. Now let's go way back down memory lane in JHS, thereabouts, primary. You know, before match starts, right? You know, there's February and there's January before match. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't even say that, but that's ending of January. That's when they get to select people from classes that will be going for the match and all that.
Okay.
So every time in assembly, from January, you know that you want to go to the Independence Square to get match, so you have to put your A game on. So once the tune for the marching song is given, oh my God, you put in your everything. And so those are some of the fondest memories that you have, and some funny memories as well. Not all that funny, but quite serious.
So were you chosen at a point in time?
I mean, I was even more than chosen. I was playing the drums for our school and all that, so it was quite interesting. We used to have a parade at our own school. My school was in Tishinungwa, around the Greater Estates. It was called Sub School Limited.
All right.
I'm sure a lot of people that live in and around that area would know that particular school. So that was what was being done. You're preparing for parade. Sometimes you the sun, and for the Independence Day in itself, the parade that the school has, you'll be there for hours, and then there'll be silent pass. Maybe sometimes the assemblyman or sometimes prominent people in society would come and grace the occasion, and then the sun can get so hot, and then
but you still stand strong,
and then you realize that some people want to leave the line, but they don't know how to, so you end up seeing some people fake fainting.
Also, they were
I had a friend who fainted every year, and one day I went to catch him. He said, "Charlie, you've not caught the line, and you want to stand under this."
Wow, interesting
much
moment there.
memory lane. Again, those are the fondest memories that I actually recall. Quite good ones, quite interesting ones.
Peter, you ever got the opportunity to?
Yes, match? I did once, but it was disastrous.
Why? Why disastrous?
Left turn, everyone turns
left turn. I was turning right. I didn't like that. I didn't like that particular man, because I'll be forced to match, which of course I
Why were you forced? There weren't any gallant soldiers in your school.
See, because at that time my height at that time.
Perfectly fitted. But how come you joined?
Whoa. Beatrice, I'm not short, Beatrice. I disagree. I'm holding offense, Beatrice.
Oh, please, we just started the month. Please forgive me.
I mean, I'm not a 6 foot short.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, back then I was a little bit smallish, but I was everywhere.
Okay.
Wherever the taller ones could do, I'll also be there. I'll be doing some. So
you were everywhere.
I was everywhere. I was short, but you can't intimidate me. So yes, the short ones are also always in front when it comes to the queue when you're marching. So yeah. If they even shout left turn and we turn right because we're in front, you have to also turn right. That's the beauty.
I don't know why the left and the right were confusing us like that. Right, and then you see people facing each other.
If our producers may, right?
Yeah.
Let's even stand and then we'll give the command. We even try whether Beatrice will be able to turn left when you say left turn.
Now I can.
Are you sure?
When I was in brigade, I couldn't.
What about when they say about 10? Where are you turning? Where are you turning?
Oh, from
that's all right. So that it depends on the leaders.
Right.
But how do you do your legs? About 10. You have to. I don't know how.
You see people try to fall and they get their stamina
about
back.
10 was a serious one. It was a dangerous one because you have to get your foot in it and then twist it in a certain way so that you don't.
It's funny. Most of the times, the teachers who takes us through the whole training exercise are sometimes they are no patients at all. Any mistake you will take, any little mistake. But for me, during the Ghana at 50, that was when I was forced to match.
Yeah,
it was fun though, thinking about the kind of gifts even caps, boots, with all the inscription Ghana at 50.
Ghana at 50 was a massive one in Ghana.
Talking about Ghana at 50, do you remember the song that I used to play? Ghana at 50, Ghana, congratulations, Ghana, Ghana at 50, let's all celebrate.
Charlie, I'll record this and put it down.
I mean, these were fun memories, down memory lane. I don't know whether they still do these things. Ghana 1060, we didn't kind of get so much hype about it. Ghana 1065, Ghana 1067. I don't know what's happening. It looks as though we are losing some fundamental parts of our heritage, which is the
Independence Day
celebrations. I don't know why it doesn't cause us.
But
so
where
much
did it
joy.
start from? Because looking at the expenses, as they said, is one of the reasons why they are not having the parade. So that could be a factor. Then I think it's fair not to have it this time.
Well, yeah, cost. I mean, Ghana economically has not been at a very good place for some time now. So if they are not doing that, based on economic reasons, then it's understandable. We've had the idea of seeing that treasury bills have reduced by more than 365 basis points when it comes to the 182-day bills, more than 560 or 530 basis points when it comes to the 91-day bills. So it looks as though we are on a good path, if I can say anything like that. So Peter, I know Peter will delve more into economic issues.
Into the business segment. Businessman. Our economy is bouncing back, right?
Exactly.
It will.
Slow but sure. But sure.
So one of the things I remember also is the free day after independence for school children. Charlie, even if you are not part of those who march.
And the thing is, there was a bonus for those who didn't partake in the marching. Right? The bonus was that you have the free day before at home. Whilst we are
on that set match.
Yes. So it's quite a good one. So you have 2 free days as against the 1 free day that the not all that much have. So Peter,
and then he seems to forget one thing: the white socks.
So you spoke about the preparation before the set match itself, and every time you see people wearing white, they look as neat as. Just to be selected too much.
I have a confession though.
What was that?
For the white socks, it wasn't always white, because for me like this, right, my socks, sometimes I go home and I play football with my shoes without even taking them off and all that. So following day, when I wake up in the morning, that is when I wash my socks.
Wash and wear.
GHS. And then do you know what I do to make it dry? The kids these days, I'm not sure they do those things. You put it inside a towel and then you squeeze it, and then you put it on the ironing board, right? And then you take the steam out and then you press it. So you get hot socks and then you wear them.
Those are great memories, huh?
Please, if you are to me, I can please don't do that. It's not good. It's not good. Make sure you wash your socks the day before, or make sure it's dry before you wear it. Don't do wash and wear.
Now they have the opportunity. I wasn't part of you, Peter.
And another memory is that still on the Ghana at 50. I remember with that time we were asked to mimic the ex-servicemen.
Okay.
Yes, so we were asked to bring a stick in the form of can. We'll be marching with one hand. And then I happened to be at the back. Leader, like you said, he was very short. And so we planned on how to go about the thing. When we got there, I don't know whether he was tense or he changed the whole thing. So before I realized, they were walking the left side. That was
we understand why Peter doesn't really like. Memory had stunted you. So how did you get back to them? You had to run to join them?
I left. I left immediately.
So you experienced that Ghana at 50 and ended there.
Since that time, nobody will even bother to call me to go and rehearse for 6 months.
I can see how pissed you were by then. All right. So we want to move on with our stories for today. quickly we go to the daily graphic and see what is trending on the front page. All right. This says that Mahama sounds alarm. Economy needs radical overhaul. It's from President John Dramani Mahama. And resetting economy, Dr. Yamson calls for fresh start. None of Agenda 111 hospitals operationalized. That is the health minister. Then we have e-transacts Ghana to drive digital payment future with advanced solution. That is on the front page of the daily graphic. We move on to the business graphic.
Did you talk about e-transacts Ghana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You'll be delving deep into that.
I mean, I've worked with e-transacts Ghana and I've known them for some time now.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to make free adverts, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, very they are going to drive digital payments future with advanced solutions.
If there's any company to do that and do it well, then it's e-transacts Ghana Limited.
Really?
Yes.
That's an advert you're doing for them.
I'm my producer will give me that.
You have a receipt right now. All right, so moving on to business, graphic business. The front page says that Atuforsen's 7 pillars for economic reset. I want to read a bit of that. It says Finance Minister Dr. Kessel Atuforsen has announced a comprehensive 7-point economic recovery plan designed to reset the economy and put it back on the path of growth. Addressing the participants at the National Economic Dialogue, Dr. Forsen outlined how the administration intended to implement strategic reforms while safeguarding crucial social programs for vulnerable citizens. The first pillar focuses on strengthening domestic revenue collection through a balanced approach that emphasizes fairness, simplicity, and efficiency in taxation. All right, another one says Minister signals tax rationalization to boost revenue. This is by Elizabeth Nyadu Edu. Then the last bit of the business, graphic business, is SOEs pose economic threats on account of poor performance. Do you have anything for business?
So for business, I would urge our viewers to stay glued to their seats as we'll be diving deep into it during the business segment.
All right.
And then also the National Economic Dialogue started yesterday and
exactly.
it will continue today. Yes.
Okay. Nanayao.
Yes, I'll delve a little bit in sports. And then yesterday, the GFA president, he led the Black Stars Management Committee to the office of the Minister for Sports and Recreation, and he went to introduce them to him, sort of, not the old ones, because I didn't see John Pencil over there, I didn't see Fatah Dawda over there, but the new additions that have been added to the Black Stars Management Committee to sort of boost the team. And then their chances of qualifying to the World Cup. Now they have to beat two teams, Morocco, Madagascar, and then it's giving me. They have to beat two teams to make sure that they qualify to the World Cup, and then so that's where they are at the moment in place to meet.
When are they playing?
And then, they'll be playing a match this month, and then later their second match will be coming on. So it remains to be seen whether the performance of the Black Stars will be positively affected by this particular one. They've brought known faces and respected faces like Stephen Appiah to also come and help steady the ship in charge of player relations and all that. So let's hope that the Black Stars Management Committee being changed, that will transcend into the GFA and Ghana football becoming better.
I'm waiting to see the budget since the president promised us to look at the budget. He'll bring guests presented to the citizens of Ghana.
It's very sensitive when it comes to the budget. But yes, we've been promised accountability. And so far, President Mahama, His Excellency, has been doing everything right. I don't think he's maybe taken a wrong foot. Probably aside the appointment of Mr. Samuel Adum Botre. That's as registrar of birth. And then the civil service has been on strike for well over a week now. there's nothing going on at the birth and death registry because it's they're on strike. The civil service, when you walk around the ministry, you see that
the places is
almost yes. So he has to sort of maybe right that particular wrong, and then I'm sure there'll be.
But I don't know why it has kept long till now. Because CLOG was supposed to send an official letter to the Minister for Labour, then
which they have done so already. So right now, I think there's been some exchange of correspondence between CLOG and then the Ministry of Labour and also the National Labour Commission as well. But then now, what we are waiting to see is that it's as though who is blinking first. CLOG is in the right by saying that you cannot appoint a politically exposed person to take over a civil service role. The position of a registrar of birth and death is a civil service role.
Exactly.
So if you appoint someone who is politically exposed, as seen in the case of Mr. Samuel Adom-Botwe, and also even that his qualification has not been made known public as to how he qualifies for that particular position. Is
the question the qualification?
The question is about his political exposure, and even after that, when let's say we overlook the political exposure, now the next thing to look at is qualification. The spokesperson for the presidency, Felix Ofu-Squache, says that he has the right qualification, but he having the right qualification, even that has not been communicated, I think, to CLOG, and then it hasn't been communicated. Right now, there is no civil service council, so that's also another thing. So it looks as though they are quite for that particular thing. That's what I can say, that Mahama hasn't got maybe 100% right, and maybe it's not just him. It's about because he has the power to appoint, but which can be sort of given out to other people to do that. But for the civil service to be on strike for this particular length of
that's a number of days.
Yes, so it's going to actually, we are fixing the economy, resetting the economy, but then it's still as though there's one aspect which is gone back. Let's not politicize this. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Appointing a politically exposed person for a civil service position is wrong and must be treated. So the earlier a resolution is found for this, the better.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons why the RCS program on CLOG TV has been aired to educate people about the neutrality, the transparency,
the neutrality, anonymity and permanence of the
civil servant.
Yes. Okay. Because let me just expound on these three principles a little bit. The civil service has to be neutral, because if you bring a politically exposed civil service, they are ending up going to serve their government of the day. When another government comes, either they leave with institutional memory, or they because definitely if Samuel Adom-Botwe is kept in place, even if he doesn't retire, by the time he's 60, or by the time this 4 years elapses, maybe there's a change of government, the next government wouldn't want to work with him because they see him as a politically exposed person, and then he'll be taken away. And he being away, he's living with the experience, he's living with the institutional memory and all that, not being passed on to any other person. So it's a problem that we have to.
We'll see how things unfold. Today you have RCS.
No, tomorrow.
It's tomorrow rather.
It's RCS.
Okay. So viewers, please stay put and watch RCS. It's a very educative program on CLOG TV, and it tells us about the role of a civil servant. All right, let's move on quickly to our online stories, and this one says that you didn't Doom saw. That is from Minority yesterday. Yeah, they held a press conference. Let me read a bit about that story. It says, The minority in parliament has dismissed President John Dramani Mahama's assertion that his administration resolved the power crisis, commonly referred to as Dumsor, in 2016. During a press conference yesterday, former Finance Minister Mohammed Amin Adam urged President Mahama to provide a load shedding schedule, as certain areas of the country are facing intermittent electricity supply.
Well, I would say that major power crises have confronted every government under this Fourth Republic. Now, it can date back to 1998 to 2000. There were power crises under the former president, the late Jerry John Rawlings, from 2000 to 2006. Under the regime of Kufuor through to the late attacks, and then Mahama, our current president, President John Mahama. This power crisis became very intense between 2013 to 2015. It became very prolonged, it became very intense. And so for the debate about I solved it, you didn't solve it, shouldn't be the problem now. So I think that this power crisis is a generational problem that needs to be solved prudently. So currently, about this energy crisis, well, the minister did not specify that maybe this area is facing the
some areas in Ghana.
He didn't specify maybe Sotum, Kotobabi or something. But putting that one aside, I believe that it all boils down to financial mismanagement, because according to the president during his State of the Nation address, he says that the energy sector owes a whooping amount of over 70 billion. And then tracing it from the 1980 down to this time. So initially, there was the problem of, that the lack of rainfall is causing, there was no water in the lake to, generate more power. And then it was also attributed to the fact that Ghana had some contractual, agreement with Nigeria to supply natural gas, which of course they were finding difficult to, make payments. And so I believe that putting all those into consideration, all these, matters into consideration, I would say that all the regimes lacked, if that's the perfect way to use, lacked foresight. They should have seen. And then, one thing is that once we grow, the population growth, the demand for electricity becomes higher. And so they should have put all these measures in place. And all that I'm trying to say that if right now we are facing power crisis, do so as the minister is saying, then I'll attribute it to mismanagement, because they've not been able to, they've not been able to fulfill their financial obligations. Hence, some of the power supply suppliers are opting out. Just recently, we heard the IPPS threatening to opt out because the ECG owes them some huge amounts.
Serious?
Yes. And so I attribute to that. So we shouldn't politicize this thing at all. We should get, prudent ways of solving these issues. And now, right now, what is going on is national dialogue. Right now, we have economic national dialogue.
We have the education dialogue and
the public reforms dialogue. And so I think they should consider this one too and give a concrete, solutions to this one. And then there are a lot of questions the energy sector needs to answer. That huge amount of money cannot just go like that. They need to explain to Ghanaians. Yes. So that's
all right. So we have a couple of messages here. I want to read them quickly, then Nanea, take your contribution. So this is from Godfred Edem. He says, loving your outfit. That's right. Yeah. So HM Joe says, hey, Sith match preparation, new white socks, fresh haircuts, fresh shoes, probably with the white gloves. All right, those are the memories we shared on the Sith match then. HM Joe again says that our power crisis correlates with our currency crisis. So these are some of the messages coming through. Nanayel, you would want to touch a bit on the electricity crisis. You know, I can't mention Seth much, mention electricity or power crisis without mentioning the work of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. As if he foresaw and created one of the largest reservoirs, the dam, to help curb these issues. But sustainability and maintenance is one of the issues we are facing right now. And I have your take.
So it pains me to actually hear this from the minority at this point in time. It's sort of saying that you have magnifying your failures as minority, or you're magnifying your failures because Mahama took charge January 7th. Today's date is March 5th. So when you calculate, the number of days is what? 57 days.
Okay.
57 days between January 7th.
Today is March 4th.
March 4th. 56 days between March 4th and then January 7th. Now, every problem that this particular government is going to face is likely to be a problem that has been inherited from the previous regime.
Looking at the number of days they've been in government.
Looking at the number of days they've been in government. Every problem that they are facing now is not something that came out of the vacuum. It's not something that has been. If you were in power for 8 years and you didn't make provision for power when it comes to your next administration, because we had the former minister for the Minister for Energy, right? John Jinapo, in his release just on January 7th this year, that the liquid fuel left to sustain electricity production was just one that will last Ghana 3 days or less. But we've seen our lights being on despite those fears. We saw that the West African gas pipeline was closed down for maintenance, which takes about a month or so. We've heard that there are a lot of power crises and in looming sectors or areas of the country. And none of this was attended to when the MPP took power for 8 years. So it pains me that this is being politicized, that you didn't fix doom, so you didn't also fix it, because if you're experiencing it now, it's as though you didn't fix it. That's basically what you are telling us. So it's if you politicize these things just to score political points, right now the average Ghanaian is smarter than they were before, where we just follow propaganda and say yes, it's true, it's NDC's problem, it's MPP's problem. No, we put facts on the ground and then we measure. You were here for 8 years. I've been in for just 56 days. A problem clearly that I'm facing now looks as though it's one that I've inherited. So if you're coming to say that we didn't fix it and we are politicizing it, then it's a sore taste in the mouth of all Ghanaians. So it's something that we need to sit back and then think about these issues well before you come into in press conferences. We've seen that bondholders, for instance, are not being paid or their payments were being postponed and all that. There was no money in the system. We were seeing haircuts and all that. We've seen Kezela Toforsen come in and then right now look at how the rates are going down, signifying a boost or a return or back to shape of the Ghanaian economy. You, Dr. Amin Adams, we were made finance minister for a while. More than 57 days. The kind of results that Kezela Toforsen is actually putting on ground in terms of monetary policy rates, in terms of the rates that we are actually seeing, even without the fact that central bank has not sat down for a meeting on NPR and all that. But this is what is being done at the moment, and then you go back and then you are going to sort of say these things. So whatever you do now is sort of magnifying your failures as a government. So in as much as possible, we just keep quiet.
You should have shut up, right?
Yes, and then when the actual facts, like if you want to hit this government for something that they are not doing well, Then you talk about the appointment of Adumbo. You talk about these issues that are real for everyone to see. You talk about some of these appointments that are causing a lot of raising a lot of eyebrows, and then you hit them with it, and not after he is giving a State of the Nation address for a problem that he's inherited and he's making known to the public, and then you're hitting him back on it. So I don't think that's a good one from the MPP. They should sit back, reset. It looks as though they are very eager to make sure that the political points that the NDC are scoring will be nullified or will be taken aback. But they should sit back and then actually replan and then come again, because this is a no-no. If you don't have anything very, very good or points to say, then you keep quiet. When you have something good, it will even be better for your own political points.
Well noted. Let's move on to our second story. This headline is that Bank of Ghana banned photocopying Ghana cards for banking transactions. Going to the story. The Bank of Ghana, BOG, has issued a strict directive banning the photocopying of Ghana cards for banking transactions, insisting that biometric verification, should be the standard for identity authentication. This move is in line with the National Identity Register Regulations 2012 LI 2111 and aims to phase out outdated verification methods like lookup lists and visual checks, which carry security risks. During a meeting with financial institutions, Mr. Ashite Trebi Olunu, Deputy Head of the Financial Integrity Office at BOG, emphasized that photocopying Ghana cards undermines the integrity of financial transactions. That's our second story, and Ghana card. But over the past days, I've been to the bank and they never asked me of my Ghana card. I never used the photocopy one or the original one. It was electronic. You just either use your thumbprint here. So I don't know which banks are still using this method. Oh, take first.
Okay, so I think it differs from one bank to another. Okay. And then I sat with the Wesley that we should desist from using photocopies. The risk is very high. The risk is very high. So using biometric identification is just simple fingerprints or face ID or using of the iris. I think it's a very good call. It's a very good call. Now, let's take a look at some cases involved in photocopying, like photocopying of Ghana cards, fraudulent ads. So we have identity theft. In 2019, a Ghanaian bank reported a case of identity theft where a fraudster used a photocopy of a customer's Ghana card to open a new account and withdraw funds. So it's like, if I'm able to get access to your Ghana card, I can easily go to the bank, because since they are not going to check, they might not even check to see whether the picture on the card
matches with the face.
You just do and you go your way. And then we have another incident also. So account takeover. In 2020, a customer of Ghana Bank reported that her account had been taken over by a fraudster who used a photocopy of her Ghana card to access her account and make unauthorized transactions. We also have a loan fraud in 2018, another ATM fraud in 2019, money laundering in 2020. And so I think it's a right call that banks should desist from using photocopies of Ghana card. So I think using biometric identification is the good way to go.
So it's not a paperless system. I don't know why people still want to go back to that.
One of the good things that the MPP government did was introducing the ECO. So now it's the ECOWAS card, not the Ghana card. But a lot of people have been calling it the Ghana card. Well, we have to revert back to its original name, which is the ECOWAS card.
But that's another issue, because people are saying it's not supposed to be an ECOWAS card. It's supposed to be a Ghana card, the one that identifies you to your country.
Well, that's also another discussion altogether. Let me not respond to it. So now let's talk about the photocopying. And now I want to take it from the angle of data protection. And then now let's look at data protection principles. There are 7 principles of data protection. So there's lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. There's purpose limitation. There's data minimization. There's accuracy. There's storage limitation. There's integrity and confidence. which I want to talk about a little bit. So, integrity and confidentiality.
You have 3 minutes to do that.
It says that, well, I'm not It says that personal data must be processed in a way that ensures appropriate security and confidentiality. Now, when you go to the bank and then you have your Ghana card photocopied, right? Meanwhile, they have your biometric details. So when you have your Ghana card photocopied, as the use of the photocopy one, after they are done with, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay. You don't know how the papers are shredded. Okay. There's nothing of that particular sort coming to you. So now your security is at stake. So when you learn about these, when you get trained on data protection and on all these things, you have the right to insist on the use, whether it is lawful or not. You have the right as a data subject to ask all these questions, which a lot of us don't do because we need our money anyway when we go to the bank.
Exactly.
So talking about data protection and then integrity and confidentiality, which is one of the principles of data protection, which I'm sure is one of the ways that the deputy director for Mr. Ashita talked about. So it's sort of in the right direction that now, because they have like a sort of bureau where all the Ghana cards, NIA have done significant work on that particular one. So when you go and then you scan your thumb, it should actually bring out your details and data, and then they should be verified in the system. Where I think that in this day and age, 2025, where they are sort of trying to protect the environment against cutting down trees and all that. Now, if you are going to venture into photocopying and then printing and all those things, they go against our environment. They go against something that has already been done, and it's a good step in the right direction. So kudos to the Bank of Ghana.
Yeah. Okay. You want to add something? Okay, so
I told you I'm not exhausted.
No, you've exhausted it actually. That's our time for the online print review segment, and up next is the lifestyle segment. You would want to stay glued to your seat. On the main segment, we have a discussion on Ghana's history. Don't miss out. Please stay for the lifestyle segment.
This is how we do.
Hello and welcome to Sports on Coco Digest. My name is Nanaya Asari. As always, it's a pleasure to come to your homes, to come on your phones, to come on your screens, to bring you the best in the world of sports. Now, let's run through a few updates that we have for you. It's a Black Queens coach, Bjorkren, scouts Europe for talent. Police killer girlfriend arrested for aiding his escape to Senegal. FIFA scandal, Blatter and Platini back in court. In our last stories, we have the Champions League round of 16 first leg fixtures. So we'll be back to give you the stories in detail. Yeah, welcome back. And in our first story, Black Queens coach Bjorkren is out in Europe scouting for talents like Doris Bouedua and the likes, who will propel the Black Queens back to victory. The Black Queens new coach is now scouting through Europe, going through the UK, through the Scandinavian countries, just to scout for Ghanaian talents who are playing or applying their trade in Europe. In our next story, Police killer's girlfriend arrested for aiding his escape to Senegal. Now we have Pole, who is in your screens there, his girlfriend who aided or camped him in her residence for well over 17 days. So the coast was clear for him to travel out of Ghana to Senegal. She's been called to the police station for questioning, and hopefully that would lead to the arrest of the killer. In our next story, FIFA scandal said Blatter and Platini are back in court. Now let me give you that story in detail. It says that former FIFA president Sepp Blatter and French football icon Michel Platini have returned to court in Switzerland to face fraud accusations. The Swiss federal prosecutor appealed their 2022 acquittal over a payment of 2 million Swiss francs, that is 1.6 million pounds, made to Platini in 2011, which Blatter authorized. Both men deny wrongdoing, insisting the payment was delayed compensation for Platini's advisory role at FIFA. The appeal trial, held in Muttenz near Basel, is expected to conclude by Thursday with a verdict due on March 25. Blatter, age 88, maintained his innocence, stating, "When you talk about falsehood, lies, and deception, that's not me." Platini's lawyer argued that the court rightly ruled the payment lawful. Platini, a three-time Ballon d'Or winner, captained France to the 1984 European Championship title and won the 1985 European Cup with Juventus before becoming UEFA's president in 2007. Swiss prosecutor accused Blatter and Platini of deceiving FIFA about the payments, which was agreed upon in 1998 but only settled in 2011. FIFA suspended both men in 2015 amid corruption investigations. Blatter led FIFA from 1998 until his resignation in 2015. Platini, initially a candidate to replace him, withdrew after being banned from football. Now, in our last story, we have the Champions League round of 16 matches. The fixture should be on your screen right now. Tomorrow, we have the likes of Liverpool playing against PSG, Liverpool going away. The teams in question, the 16 teams left, include Arsenal, Aston Villa, Atletico de Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, FC Barcelona, Bayern München, Benfica, Club Brugge, Feyenoord, Inter Milan, Bayer Leverkusen, LOSC Lille, Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain, PSV Eindhoven, and Real Madrid. So the fixtures will begin today with Arsenal and the likes facing PSV. So these are some of the fixtures that you should be looking out for when it comes to the Champions League. So this is how we round up the world of sports for Coco Digest. My name is Nanaya Asari. As always, it's a pleasure to come to your homes, to come on your phones, to bring you the best in the world of sports.
Good morning and welcome to the business segment on the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. Here we provide you with the latest business news, expert analysis and market trends that will impact your business and investment decisions. My name is Kojo Insia. And now let's get started with our first story. Finance Minister Kasser Ato-Forson has announced that Ghana has saved around 1 billion Ghana cedis following a recent decline in treasury bill rates. He explained that these savings would be allocated to key sectors of the economy to drive development and create a more stable and prosperous environment for the Ghanaians. Speaking at the National Economic Dialogue on March 3, themed Resetting Ghana, Building the Economy We Want Together, Ato-Forson stressed the importance of reducing borrowing and lowering debt costs to free up more funds for economic restructuring and national development.
The recent reduction in T-bills alone is saving Ghana about $1 billion, 1 billion Ghana cedis. And that 1 billion Ghana cedis can be channeled to critical areas of the economy. And clearly, we need to take steps to reduce the borrowing and also reduce the cost of borrowing so that we'll be able to channel the dividend to support our national development. I now move to the way forward and conclude. Your Excellency.
From that story, the West African Gas Pipeline Authority has reiterated its commitment to expanding its pipeline network beyond its 4 main stakeholder nations, including Ghana, to other ECOWAS member states. According to WAGPA Director General Chafari Kenya Hanawa, discussions with Ivory Coast are progressing well, with plans to evaluate the project feasibility before implementation. She made this statement announcing the resumption of gas supply after 1-month maintenance-related suspension. And then in our last story, President John Dramani Mahama has urged Ghanaians to support the reset agenda, emphasizing that collective effort is essential for economic recovery and long-term growth. Speaking at the launch of the National Economic Dialogue on Monday, March 3, 2025, he noted that the event was not just about identifying economic challenges, but also about finding practical solutions and charting a progress course for the country's financial future. Mahama described the reset agenda as more than just a government initiative, calling it a national movement aimed at rebuilding the economy for the benefit of all citizens. He also underscored the urgency of the situation, calling on all stakeholders to come together to tackle Ghana's economic difficulties.
Building the economy we want together. This theme reflects our shared commitment to creating an economy that is resilient, inclusive, and built on sustainable growth. It is an invitation to all stakeholders to contribute their expertise, ideas, and dedication to this national effort. Ghana is at a critical crossroads in its economic development. The challenges before us are stark, and the economic distress we face are undeniable. However, our collective resilience, ingenuity, and determination have always been the driving force of our nation's progress. We are not here merely to recount our struggles, nor are we here to resign ourselves to economic stagnation. We are here to seek solutions, to adopt strategies that will put us on a sustainable growth trajectory, and to ensure that we build an economy that works for every Ghanaian. For me, this is not just another policy discussion. It is an urgent call to action. A crucial moment for us as stakeholders to unite with purpose and resolve the challenges that face us. We've gathered here to create a powerful platform where government officials, policymakers, business leaders, economists, industry experts, development partners, and other key figures come together to shape the future.
And that's all we have for you on the business segment. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Kojo Insia.
Me mama kwaba etiefo ne ahwefo me mama kwaba biom eba lifestyle segment yi so e wo Coco Digest morning show enne ye frame me adwoa ye boaboaten ane miamini enti enne ye discussion ya ye ba be ye traditional games tete agro na mum main co-host here omo has said the major omo no omo o ma introduce omo ho so let's dive right straight into the conversation akwaba
Ejoso.
Hey, and then dear, Moon say has a crowd.
And then the system say Ghana Mantinenti. Ye tray, ye amani ni amamre.
I na me amosho mata di mashi am obi an kan hwe Mr. Menhwaefo.
Those as Santinia bayo dear, one no kasa no so kan yi.
Manuati an kasa.
Ate.
Okay.
Now why so? Okay.
Mo introduce mo ho.
Ben so ye frame me Kojo Nsia. Kojo Nsia.
Menu meal. Problem.
And the men kwana me dem sonko. Nti me dey offer me papa Kwesi Akraba.
Oh, okay.
Nti me bansa na maba.
And yatiatsu. Now no pay day. It's all about the traditional games, and if we are talking about traditional games, what types of traditional games do we have?
Okay.
Kojo bedi kayana.
Okay. There's a traditional games, so you can think of Ludu,
okay,
Oware, those times, Pilolo, Pempena, and of course you can't take away Ampi. Those days I used to play Ampi, but now I'm a big boy, so I don't play Ampi anymore. Big boy now. But those days I used to play Ampi, and a whole lot games.
Kwesi.
And that year, could you Akaime grow? I said, then bro, you should send the idea grow be specifically the Pimpna, a lot of people watching don't have any idea. Pimpna na but so more son pro nine so Pimpna a lot of people don't know this kind of game, and this is our culture as
now. Why ne kai dami
dami I'll grow no misano now but dama man sam nanto because I was a senior player, but I didn't answer because of business stories. No, we've come to do because he just finished with the business story. So exactly. I say, hey, take it over damn, but oh yeah, then cry damn and over.
What's my all camfantin? I'm also my pandemic can be me camfantin. Mam so damn no me yazi.
Hey,
and send there was any yet to damn. Local me yazi, so you're the best field.
And I don't know. Me to
agro the name the pan make a senti no na me pay san chroma
one wo shosha kokomba right
yes wow
and oh
I'm going to name. You see the disadvantage now is the young or the children now don't get the chance to play all such of games due to how we've modernized the culture.
Now everything is on phone.
Everything is on phone. The last time on our way to the house, we saw 4 people. They were playing Ludo on their phone, and we were wondering. We watched them. We were just laughing. I mean, Ludo is now on the phone. Yeah. So I was wondering what type is now, and they play. And I was like, hey, wow, that's the modernization of games. But these traditional games before independence has its own significance. It has its own reason. You not just find children playing Pilolo, for example, and you wouldn't know what they're in for. A reason behind that. So I believe that in our Ghana month, let's portray all this culture, let's portray all these games so that those in the African countries and also those in other parts of the country will get to know that indeed Ghana has a rich culture, and that is what we stand for.
Exactly. And there's one game that even outsiders and neighboring countries do play, and it's Owari. They call it Mankala. Can you demonstrate how it's being played?
Oh. You see, Owari now we have it in a modern way where it's like a wooden structure and they've created holes in it. But when you go to way back,
okay, so it's been displayed on the screen.
Exactly. Yeah. You could see some 3 old men doing that. Yes. But in the village, we don't have such Owari in this form. We create hole, exactly. We create hole on the floor and we play the Owari in it. We use this Ajay. The punk, yes, that's what we used to play in those days. But now you see how it has been modernized. It looks so beautiful.
It was so interesting to Even as at now, they still play it.
Oh yes. You see, it makes you think on a sport because you are supposed to be so smart enough that your opponent doesn't take you by surprise. Sure. And these games, most of these games, it's all about critical thinking.
Yeah.
It's all about critical thinking, and it's quite unfortunate. And I believe if such games are reintroduced, like the problem we have in this country will be solved. Oh yes.
Yeah. So it goes a long way to train the mind, like the Owari, for instance, and then the Pilulu. It goes a long way to train the mind, and so those times we were always active. And then one game I loved much was the Pimpna. And then the Pimpna too, I don't play with my colleagues. I play with the ladies especially. And then there's this game that sometimes some of the elders frown at the mom and the papa because of the idea behind it. But those times we played with genuine hearts. But sometimes if you have an elder brother, there's a new girl in town or a new girl in the neighborhood. You see, our elder brothers will send us, go and call your friends so that we come and play mom and papa. They have their own agenda. And so you'll be playing, you go and they'll be like, okay, so he will be the papa. And the targeted, they will be the mom, and then we will be the kids. And they will intentionally send us. They can even send us to the riverside where we will keep long. By the time we will come, everything. So those who have been playing that game, those who are
yes, I get what he's saying. But there is a very peculiar reason behind this mom and papa. Yes. It prepares a child for the parenting mode. You need to prepare yourself.
For instance, if I am mommy, me mommy say na makwa fa say tin tomatoes ni afa konko no na ye nu aduane na makofa na je ni meko. How did I learn all this? It is exactly what I saw from what my mother used to do. And then I'll portray the same. I mean, it wasn't in a negative way.
Not at all.
Sometimes.
I
think na mama me be womba na ye kwa akoda mo be ka me mo papa.
I think this is how the culture has been. I remember those days, in the olden days, you'd be sleeping with your mom and dad in the same room for some quite number of years before you get your own room. But now it's not like that. As early as 2 years, 3 years, you have your own room and you are staying alone. But such games will tell you that let's build that unity. Let's build that bond. In a village setup or in a community where this game is mostly played, it's mostly in the evening. In the evening around 7 p.m., mostly when the moon, there's a bosom no opea. That is the time you could see there is a new lighting in the environment. So all the children will come around and will be playing. It promotes unity. It promotes oneness. There is a game we call Chimpe. I will never forget. I will never forget this game. And
you still play Chimpe.
Now, I'm modernizing. But Chimpe is still in the system. It's a game I see that there's a saying that sharing is
care.
So that is the kind of game. That was the implication. When you have something, learn how to give it out. It's not only about like I say but you'll be crying. But no, the whole motive is that learn how to give. Learn how to, but now we don't do that. When you do that, your grandmother will say that, hey, and that has also caused the preserving of our culture. When you go to this house, they'll say that, oh, this place, don't go there because of this story. In those days, it's not like that.
Exactly.
You can end up eating at your auntie's place, going here, play, but now they will tell you, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, and you have been limited. And at the end of the day, we come out and we are so limited in so many things.
Yeah. And one of the outdoor games I really liked was Pilulu. Na makota na ye hwehwe she say what me she baby fa kwa ma obi ehu da. It was so interesting. Can you share your experience about it?
Okay.
And the
for me, I have a confession. You know, way back, my mom prepared some groundnut soup with, all the meats inside, the fish, the chicken, all that. And then this woman sent me, I didn't go. Said she's going to starve me. So fortunately, my friends came around and they said we should play Yenye Pilulu. So I decided to go and hide in the kitchen. So when I went there, I started, I ate.
This agenda
looking for me. But so unfortunate, after eating and I was going out, I saw mommy. And that very day, I received the beatings of my life. But then, it didn't stop me from playing. So anytime I have an ulterior motive, I play that game. But then, like, it had a way of, impacting into us some form of, characters or values.
Yeah.
The pilolo, the ability to search.
Exactly. That was where I was coming to. Yeah. We do break brooms.
Yes, and stakes, those kind of things.
We will hide them.
Exactly.
So you would have to look for these, and then wasn't it critical thinking also?
It is. You see, most of our games, our traditional games, it's all about critical thinking.
It made us
think. It wasn't about chew and pull. It was about think, solution, problem solving. Unlike now, we have an education system. There's no much problem solving. As we are going to play dummy on stage, you get to know how problem solving will come in.
Wow!
It's put you on stage that what if you are confronted with a situation as we sit here? What are you going to do? That was what our games, olden games, was trying to make us do.
Even now, the dummy is chess.
Yes.
In the outside world,
Yes.
and then it was contributing a lot to the system. Right, let's move on to AMPE. In the initial stage of our discussion, Joe explained that he used to play AMPE very well.
So I grew up in ladies,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
All my life, even now.
That explains it.
Yes. So I can play AMPE very well. And there's this particular game too. They draw lines, you throw something,
1,
you jump
2, 3.
Yes. So when it comes to AMPE, I bet you that you can't even stand me. I play very well.
Are you serious?
And now I'm a big boy, I don't play AMPE anymore. But the trick is that the fact that you play, you move the left, you move the right, not knowing the leg the other person is going to. It's a way of, thinking, like you rightly said, critical thinking. So that game, as it stands now, I wish I can play, but now I can't.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
Yes.
I used to play AMPE a lot.
I think Kojo was giving his own confession. I know there are some colleagues of mine watching. They will tell you way back GHS. Oh, I was good than Kojo. Way back GHS. Oh,
you don't mean it.
You can't.
Should we open the floor, guys, right now?
That's why I said business let's take you over. Yeah, business let's take you over. But AMPE was a very nice game. I see it's not only for the ladies. When you see guys, young guys also doing it, it's very nice. It's very nice. And he jumping, throwing one of the leg, as he said, critical thinking, because you don't know the kind of leg Adra Watson is going to bring up now. Exactly. You should be able to think and know that okay, this leg, this one will go. Sure. It's critical thinking. So, for example, bringing it to our system as business-related people. Yeah. The current issue we have in our economy, it is the duty of the finance minister to critically think that, oh, we are restructuring our debt, but what is the next step?
Sure. Exactly.
What will come next? Yeah. This is what the game was all about.
Yeah, exactly. So now we are, as we have mentioned a couple of games, we do have Owari, we do have the dummy. Oh, but then we have dummy. They would want to have a little petition. Are you ready?
Very ready. The way you were saying is very good.
We
will show work.
We are going to show work. Now, when says our sound engineer Kajimidi, when he said, to me,
really?
I don't know if I'm but that's was to one back. But
back to back.
And the yambo.
Back to back.
And the yambo.
Can you say Kwesi Waye? Oh, which young Cassa. Time meaning Guasia, main train my okra. When they call lunch. So many meaning Guasia.
Into Bono, hands down.
It's a sign near Bono.
Into your wall. Abawi. Mostly it's two colors.
Okay.
This is the blue, this one is the yellow.
Okay.
And a best, so you're going to arrange this once.
So are the numbers equal?
Yes, they are equal.
And how many are they?
2020.
Oh, okay.
2020. And this game, as we said earlier, it puts you on your nose.
Yellow back over how?
Into way, if at the end of the day I win one part, he's supposed to position this here. That's I have won.
Okay.
So these ones are, let's say, the what indicates that who is winning the game. So that is how basically it is. So starting this game, as we said.
Wow, this is going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
But Adjo, I want to know who are you supporting?
Me say me support Kwesi. I be catch me here. Wa mama ti ase so yadia.
We ya mama lusu hope.
Oh, da be me nia be ma. Ensure kra me tie which but competition mu no. E can say Kwesi mama GA dey. O win sisi a. Oh, imagine it.
No. But you see, one unique thing about this game is mostly in the olden days it's placed under trees.
Okay.
Or you driven from sometimes this cicadia and these are the play, and when you go to the village setup, place called Parliament. That is where the young guys meet to talk. So wherever you go and they are talking, they'll be playing such games. And one unique thing about this game is Adwa.
Yeah.
I brought what's nature one. We say, hey, Kwesi what to say Uncle Bedin Kunimo. Kojo to say Uncle Bedin Kunimo, but bet now one.
In fifre bet so. Just a wine drink.
What drink and kasa on the bay. Into ye kwankasa. Say the
hey. Okay.
Watching Assasa.
Was the year in Nimbono, and Chew, a mass lady, a boss.
Wait, say, or so who can obey Abrabono. Abrabono, who for Bacon and San Wacomino. Won to me, Fiha, now won't page out way and found better her. Abrabon into dummy Abrabon, wash I am bearman or mobile. Or send the bearman almost in the Omoya a busianity into Omon or some Tom Women, almost Abrabono. We shall be about damn a Pabosan and son, a yesi.
And I was a dummy, I seen to a metal with she.
Send the idea. Oh, yeah, but so no bands, Obutan, Timmy, and fine. Mania bit too much.
Yeah, woo, Yeri.
Ba Adwa Ababon won. Ayen to boase.
Kwesi.
Ababo yen to boase.
Cheso. Na ye yari.
Yen to me resa. Yen to me resa. Dami na nkasa no, sani ameka ye no. Agro wo ba o se wo hwem yi. Na wo nse se Ababo no mutu yi a we embeto me wa akwantin fi. Nti uboni say no wa uboni say
that you say the account so there me so me dey
nti on what to me abo
nti bone yen hwe
and one no nti ye koso agron de be ye de na ba ko besu ababo ne ti ababo de wo ba ko din kunim
ba ko besu na se na metai we chi die usu amesu bi abo
ensida
Oren so me lunch e hye wonsa
me aboka
no
so one fan mamia nyame boa ya woda mesan ba beka e wa hase
ndise me din kunim obaye me dey
o din kunim ma me che chocolate se o Ghana mantana
and one no
ko ye wo hwe die It's an wine area.
Nti wo hwe abano ayewo no a at least ye nia ayewo
equal.
Yes,
okay.
equal parts. But Dame is a game of uncertainty. You wouldn't know what will happen tomorrow.
Exactly.
Nti ABR who two way wunim nia wechi etie. Nti abrabo no ye bono. Wa dwen say ABR wo say wo toka echina. But wunim say bia car na obeton ebo boaw anase emboaw. Sana Dame abrabo. Dame eya abrabo ankasa. Nti wotumi bo dame ye ya. Wotumi adwen na wa hyehye abrabo ni.
Okay. Ase na mo ni sisi de o kan ampa se meti etwe no me fele say oh me de to ha say ya no na mewi na so entesa o.
Entesa kra. Eno ntina so bi.
Nti oh rade.
Sana me kan. Eno ntina adwa sa wo bo abrabo no. Na say obi ka kire wo say wa abrabo no embo ni say boni say ya enyi sa wuti ni no. Wo a wo ba abrabo no una wuti una wendim nya ekoso sana damage to sete nti we dia obetumi edimi but ensi
adene emu
aye de ankasa chese
nti adwa hwe bibi Send them cancer abrabo no or ya abrabo or you uncertainty no. Shall you
Baby,
what you to bra. But me person
na wo change dey.
Me person camera no ezumi
anka.
Ezumi che viewers they say abrabo ni do say wo hye ne. Pe. Na wo you mistake abrabo no be twa with chimba.
We ya wo toto anamon yi.
Sanity.
Me ba ne say ne manhu.
Sanity. Abrabo de to de bia. One drink they say wo yi.
By force me di ana say.
By force. Abrabo they say to a esu to o say wusu.
Kojo de say na no.
I say
awano kate.
I didn't say wasn't paying for can be say.
I'm paying for own cash.
Oh, just any way fi.
I'm penning I am a side.
What you to make me say I draw baby. What you to?
Met nephew.
Into wo she odi ba ko pe wo but ba ko mienu miensa and I
Yapon.
Baby employ
Yapon.
At this point Yapon.
Yapon to aso.
Inti sana dame so eti.
Kojo, nyame waka chewa ne se kwana kosua ne yi. Na bra next time kwasi ase.
I didn't say no okay.
Worry.
Me shada race but
worry.
Abrabo. So we learn from the experience once. To say many na boy I wash me left and right. Next time me coffee me koye me homework.
And
so e wo damas nso no. Nka say ya wabo mi e wo nkrofo ha mbe kan nsem abechi wo bufu ye beserew. Na enka de we wadi me ato asetere no. E wo nsem bi obeka be shema bufu. And when I go back, I'll do my homework well, try and come back harder and try to beat him next time. And so it gives you some form of a way to like critical thinking and then not to be smart and not to lose.
Sure.
No matter how should I even put it? No matter how low you get sometimes, it gives you, it encourages you to come back next time with more energy.
Wow.
And yes.
Wow. Menda masi bebre say mabema minni anche na de me nyamo anka mewu.
But me lunch no so dey me join because me din konim.
Me can say me ma chocolate me
yes. Mate.
But still mentiase. Because me rehearse wo fi anse na me ba o.
Me say wo dey say wa.
Ti na abrabo no. So you wadwen say wo rehearse e wo dem na waba. Sometimes we be share the reality a etumetwe wo sign no. Wo we kira say can wadwen say ajo otne TV so kasa okay metumi aka but so betna so a obonso wontumi nka sana brabonete. So our traditional games was actually preparing us for the future. It was preparing us for the reality. So I would urge that our parents watching us, they should make or encourage their children to participate in this kind of traditional games.
Maybe once a while you can just gather your kids and then even those in the area.
Sure.
Traditional games and let them know how it used to be at first. Exactly. And I've learned a lot. Anya kra me hu se nya yeto da me. I say me di ni odi nkunimi echi di me ni agi ankasa.
I just say we ankasa de we are declare support man in nature say man ankasa mo timi against me.
Oh that be.
Me ni e kra anka obvious no kra still nka. Mo be inti we dey be fanesa.
That be. You will be I can say follow no road.
Exactly.
Me share no me hu say akwesi na no ati ankasa no nimejuma no.
Next time.
All right, so that's all I have for you on today's lifestyle segment. Midin Day Ajwa Yebwa. Up next is the birthday segment. Stay tuned.
Today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Welcome back to the birthday segment and on our first birthday celebrant. This is from Beatrice to Comfortavia and it says, happy birthday to my beautiful and hardworking baby. May the good Lord mercifully reward your sweat. Cheers to good health, peace and joy. So this is from Jessica to Ajwa. It says, may this year be filled with as much beauty and creativity as you share with the world. Here's to more stunning looks and unforgettable moments together. Wishing you a fabulous birthday filled with love, laughter, and all the things that makes you smile. Wow. And from on CLOG TV, it is to a special someone. She's so dear to my heart and I love her so much. This is to Abnabwabe, and it says, happy birthday to our one and only local bar plug. Yeah, cheers to the place that brings us together, where laughter flows as freely as the drinks. Your vibrant spirit and dedication to our show makes every visit special. I'm so happy. And that's all I have for you on today's birthday segment. Up next is the main segment with Beatrice Bampo Ado. And then Beatrice, your friend is saying?
Now.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
Welcome to the main segment of the Digest Morning Show here on CLOG TV. We are celebrating Ghana Month, and therefore we found a need to bring a historian on the main segment to talk a bit about Ghana and Gold Coast, that it was called then. All right, so with me in the studio is Nanayao, who is co-hosting, and we have a great historian by the name Mr. Samuel Nate. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How
You're
are you?
welcome. I'm doing great.
You are looking amazingly beautiful.
Thank you. I love your Ghana represented. Yeah,
Thank you.
I love it.
Listen, I'm going to counteract what what he's saying a little bit, because you know it's always biased. When I took my time, ironed my shirt, came here, and I've not received a compliment from even one person. Now we have Mr. Nete to come in here and then coming to compliment him, and then leaving me out of the whole conversation. I am jealous.
You don't do, so probably you don't know how to reciprocate. If it is something you usually do, you admire them and appreciate them when they come to work. You say, Charlie, you look astonishing. Probably somebody will say,
I do it now.
You look well represented in your wooden fabric.
And you are fantastic. We salute you.
I'll take that bribe.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we'll go straight into our discussions because of time, and I would love to start with the name Gold Coast.
Yeah.
How did we get the name Gold Coast?
Okay, I will use this opportunity to say good morning to all your viewers from whichever platform they are actually watching this program. And I also want to say thank you for them for engaging us at this very moment on the program Cocoa Digest. So good morning. And you know, there are beautiful things about every story, and people have from whichever angle they want to approach the story. However, there is something common or similar in the story, irrespective of the angles people are picking them from. That is the same. So for example, no matter how you want to talk about Jesus from King James Version or from Amplified Version or from the Good News Version, there's always Jesus dying on the cross and resurrecting. You understand that? So that's a major thing that actually runs through all the translation. So that is how it is. People, formerly they call Ghana the Gold Coast. And when they call Ghana Gold Coast, that was when we were under British colony. In the late 1844, thereabout, we were under British colony. So they were actually colonizing us. And the name Gold Coast is as a result. They believe that when they came to the country, Gold Coast, now Ghana, there are a lot of gold at our shores, and every place you go, you see quite a lot of gold. That was a story we were told. I have not been born. My dad, I think, was also not born by then. My grandpa, I can believe, was also not born.
Wow.
It's quite a long time ago. But interestingly, I am sitting today talking about the same story, why they call me Gold Coast, believing gold were around. But I believe now, Because you can see that there are still people coming to my country now, Ghana, and they are still coming to look for gold. Amazingly, they still keep finding the gold. So people coming from all countries in the world. People are coming from other African countries, some Asia countries, some North and South American countries, even in Europe, and all of them keep coming. Just last year, we still hear people coming looking for gold. So basically, since they keep coming and they still keep finding the gold, then the story they said about Gold Coast, then it is true. So I have actually believed by what I'm saying. So that is why they call Ghana Gold Coast. And in those days, we were under the colonization of the British.
Well, so for me, I don't know. I'm going to take a little bit of a fantasy approach to some of the stories that I've heard. I heard there was so much gold in Ghana that the early people who came to the shores of the country to come and maybe explore, talking about the Portuguese, I heard they were the first people to come to Ghana. But
they were.
The other people that came, they came saw so much gold, and then they saw some birds along the shores and all that. Someone took a stone and tried to stone a bird and realized it was gold. And they said, oh, this coast is full of gold.
Really?
That's a fantasy approach that I'm taking to this particular story. There are quite lots of stories that we've heard about the name Gold Coast and what it was so.
Do you know what I heard too? I heard that women were using this sort of dressing, the depot kind of dressing, and their bead was full of gold.
Which is also true, I have heard. So I have quite old people who have also discussed that with me. And I've also heard stories in the same way of the gold issue where people like early kings and chiefs tie their horses on gold medals.
Wow.
So that it could identify that this horse is from a royal.
Interesting.
Wow.
I mean, we keep learning
now
every day.
you can't do that in Ghana now.
And still the gold.
Thank you. So basically that brings us back to why we still have issue like, so they will steal the horse and steal the gold. And she used the word now. So what about then? Why don't they steal the horse and steal the gold?
Maybe because it was in abundance.
No. You know, let's look at the Gold Coast era from three angles. For example, before independence, so let's say the pre-independence day when they call us Gold Coast. Let's look at from our socio-cultural lifestyle. How does the people live? How do they behave? What are their values? What are their norms? When I say values and not basically acceptable way of living or lifestyle of living. So how do the people look like? What is their respect level like? How do people relate to elders? How do people relate to marriages? How do people relate to activities within the community and then the country at large? Let's also look at, what are the major economic activities of the people? What were they doing? That is why they don't want to steal gold, or maybe they don't desire the gold, or maybe they don't really fancy the gold. What exactly are they doing that interests them most at the economic activity? We heard they were farmers, some were fishermen, some were basket weavers, we have fishmongers, we have farm produce sellers, and that is their activity. Only few do some few things, because in those days, pre-Gold Coast era, there were some 1 or 2 factories that I think were owned by our colonial masters, the British, that they were engaging some people to work.
Gold mines.
Exactly. And so basically, the lifestyle of the people, the socio-cultural lifestyle, the economical lifestyle, what are some of the things they also do again? Is there anything specifically they were doing that could engage them in the area of development or in the area of growth? How do they do that? What do they consider development? What do they consider growth? What do they consider prestige? So maybe those days gold was not prestige. Now we understood better. You understand? So the lifestyle, the economical lifestyle, the socio-cultural lifestyle, the growth and expansion lifestyle, pre-independence.
So that brings me to my next question. How was life before independence?
Good. So life before independence, you can see, was very free. I was not there, but we still hear the stories.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so let me bring you back.
Wait, was it before? I want us to get some clarity.
Yeah.
Here. Was it before independence or before colonization?
Okay. So when we talk about before independence, we were still under colony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from the 1844 downwards, all for 1950 something, we were still under British colony.
Yes.
Because a major thing happened in the early 1940s where a movement rose, where we hear Grant and their J-Dems were trying to form. They were trying to form a movement to get independence for the country. And then after that, in the 49 to the 50, Kwame Nkrumah also had to move from Britain and join the movement before finally he launched his party.
The General Secretary.
Yeah, so then he formed his own party called
You've done a lot of research on this one.
Exactly.
I'm a proud Ghanaian.
I love that.
March 1st.
You see,
please let me enjoy or soak in the information that you're giving.
So this is how it happened. So after the movement, he also came to join the movement because the focus of the movement was amazing. We wanted to gain our independence so we can handle our own affairs. But he realized that the ambition of the people, the drive of the people, the zeal of the people is not much more like he expected them to be. So to them, his own movement, and they call it the Convention People's Party, which is popularly known as the CPP. So he started the CPP and then dragged people. Then there was a general election in the early 50s, where now, for not like voting leaders, it's a general election that took place. So he now became the first prime minister for the country. That was Kwame Nkrumah. So he became first a prime minister. And so that was when he had the opportunity to negotiate independence with the British back and forth. So back and forth. And then finally, in 1951, thereabout, they were in the thought, so he had to battle again. And then 1955, they agreed that they have to do that. So 2 years after they have agreed, that was 1957, they finally did official inauguration when Ghana became an independent state. But life before that, like you were saying, was free. But it wasn't free because our dictators actually limited us to so many things. So you ask yourself, why there were no industries that were owned by Ghanaians? We have all natural resources, so you're good, but we are still not in control of our gold. We are still not in control of our cocoa. We are still not in control of our timber. And there was no education like industry training. And you understand what I'm trying to say? So they were educating people to go into nursing, to go into teacher training. And so they were training more teachers and they were training more nurses to take care of the state they put the Ghanaians, because you are miners, you are in the hole, you are in the forest, you are exposed to so many things that could affect you. So let's train their people to take care of them when they fall sick. Let's train their people and limit them to what education they should feed them. However, you have no knowledge on what is happening to gold. What do we use gold for? What do we use cocoa for? How does chocolate really come from cocoa? Meanwhile, I'm giving them all the raw materials. So that is our life. Limited access to information. So you are not exposed to so many things. So certain things were not part of education.
So it was like an intentional movement by the colonial.
Amazing. Very strategic.
So that they don't get you, because once you get exposed to knowing how to extract gold and turn it to a beautiful jewelry,
you will not give it to them again.
So they come for the raw material, they take it to Europe, they convert it to a finished good, and
they bring you something that says, we have the power to do it, we do these things, you don't know how to do it. So you always appreciate everything they are bringing to them. Now, let me tell you another story, which growing up, I came to believe it. When you go to the Latinos, like the Mexicans, the Haitis, the Trinidad and Tobago, they drink a particular drink, they call it tequila.
Tequila.
Tequila, you know tequila.
Yeah.
In Ghana, our tequila is called akpeteshi.
But there's tequila now.
I'm coming. In Ghana, those days, our tequila is akpeteshi. That is our gin, our natural refined gin. But do you know where the name akpeteshi came from? Because the British wanted to sell their whiskey and their gin to you. They want you to stop doing your akpeteshi. So the name akpeteshi means you must hide and drink it. That's why akpeteshi. So people hide and drink it. You must even hide and brew it. because it is considered illegal. They don't want you to do anything.
Wow.
So that can you
surprised, right?
Word again?
So you must hide. And so you are hiding to drink it because you are actually using an illegal product.
But they still hide and drink.
No, they don't hide and drink. The name has become like that.
So if they had actually magnified it or given it a very good name, maybe not like tequila, but maybe I don't know, but like some nice name, like the way.
So the thing is, there was a name, but because it was forbidden, and because it was recognized as an illegal product or an unhealthy product, now the appetition became the coded name, and the coded name has lived in many generations that the original name has.
So what original name?
The colonial leaders
it was that
never
gin.
knew it was appetition.
It was, they don't know.
Gin.
It was a gin.
Okay.
But probably they have another name to the gin.
Yeah.
But they want you to drink their whiskey. They want you to drink their gin, and so yours is forbidden.
Wow.
But how were we trading then?
So we were not trading our.
Okay.
So we were just giving them. In those days, there was something we call barter trading.
Sure.
Before money was introduced. These are all days before independence in the early 80s. Now, the amazing thing about barter trade is that among our service was content. We were very happy with the way we were trading. Even though there were little challenges in the trading, the barter trading section. For example, there is something we call double coincidence of want. Double coincidence of want simply means I have Gary, and then I wanted somebody who also has cassava in trade. Okay, so the person also actually has cassava, but he's not interested in Gary. He wanted somebody who maybe has maize. So I have my cassava, but I wanted to trade for maize, not for Gary. And I have my Gary, I wanted to trade my Gary for cassava. So it becomes a challenge. So I must go and look for somebody who is interested in the maize. Then he trade with them. Then I can now trade with him to have my. So it makes barter system. It became a challenge for barter system.
Yeah, but how did they find the value? How was the value like?
They have their own way of measure. For example, in our 21st century, people still do the business we call iron rods business, or what we call in the early days alumi. But they still have a way of, you go, they say, Charlie, 1 kilo is 50 cedi, then you still accept it. Even now.
So I think the value system would come from how much you need it. Because if I have a ton of maize, and then you need, let's say, a sack of maize, and then I can determine the value, because I may not necessarily need what you want.
But except maybe, those days, like I'm saying, there was nothing much greed or envy. So the people always run a fair system. I was explaining to that the people actually have a simple lifestyle. And so the simple lifestyle, there is no, yes, there might be little people who have certain ill motives or bad attitude. It is undisputed. However, the general lifestyle is that people are just interested in the fairness of how they trade, the fairness in how they treat themselves, the fairness how they engage. And that is how life was. And then we also look at it before independence. Let's look at it from also our moral values. How do people relate to each other? The respect level, the love level, the trust level, the service attitude level. You see an elderly person coming, you are sitting on a chair and you want to get up on the chair. It doesn't matter, by those days there were no cars. You see an elderly person coming with goods. It doesn't matter which direction you are going, you still would want to give a helping hand to this elderly person. Irrespective of the distance they are going, you have to give an helping hand. It has become like an acceptable way of lifestyle. The norms and the value. So there is no way you will see an elderly person coming from the farm with goods that you will pass. It doesn't work. It is completely unacceptable. There's no way you'll be sitting down and an elderly person coming. You wouldn't even want to get up and welcome the person to your seat. It is considered unacceptable. So these are things that you realize I have to be doing that. And it is part of the lifestyle. And then you see something that does not belong to you. You have been brought up in such a way that you do not take it. And basically, if you realize where it is not safe, you take it to your parents, and then your parents must report to which authority can make sure that the owner of that valuable item could access it or reach it or receive it.
So the armed robbery, the thieves, and all that.
In the early days, they were there, but in the early days, they were there. We can't say they were not there. They were there. 2,000 years before Christ came, they were still arresting thieves and hanging them on the cross with Christ.
Yeah.
So why not? Definitely they were there.
Okay.
So many lifestyles that they are very insignificant. So they are hiding and they are doing it. So it becomes very difficult to get hold of these people. They are not proud of it because it is frowned at by the society. So they are very minimum. They are just few people who just want to do few bad things.
All right.
So they're always with the people.
We're speaking about the trade. How about industrialization? Because we know those who were colonizing us come for our raw materials, then they take it and go process it, bring it back to us, then we trade with gold. But now, or before independence, did Dr. Kwame Nkrumah vision this? How did he get the wisdom to bring up the Akosombo Dam, those industrialization into Ghana?
I always want to give a foundation to a story so that it can communicate well. They say God created man. I have come to believe that. So why is it that when God wants to save man, he has to become a man? It gives him this understanding to that state of the people. Kwame Nkrumah was able to attain the knowledge, the skills, and then the wisdom because he was with them.
Okay.
He schooled there. He was out of the normal education in the country, which limits you to industrial training, it limits you to maybe political science training, it limits you to manufacturing training. So you are exposed. So you are reading what they are reading, you are studying what they are studying, you are experiencing what they are experiencing, and then you are living the life they are living. But now in your further studies, you realize that 80% of everything they are enjoying comes from your country. So you see yourself better. That is why he didn't allow himself to be employed and live the lifestyle there and drink their coffee, cross his legs, and then eat hot dogs. But he decided to come back because if all these things are from my country, then basically they are parasites in my country. Okay. So I should be the independent country, not them. Because he is with them and all the things they study, he came back and bring the knowledge to the people. That was why Kwame Nkrumah was the first person to have set huge educational sectors like Legon, like KNUST, and all that, and education. He was doing that. That was why he was able to build more factories than any other president because he realized that we can process all our raw materials. Okay.
And you didn't see him as a threat?
Well, when they did,
I love the question, but it is very some way,
Yeah, maybe I can help. When they did, we saw a coup. Maybe if I can put it in that way, when they did, because there are quite some conspiracies against as to how the coup came about, and we've even read books on certain factions of the CIA and then the role they
people who were sent.
Yes.
I even read to the extent that in those days, as late as 1966, they spent over £200,000 to train people just to overthrow his government. No, yeah, I've read books on that.
So
£200,000.
1966.
200,000
pounds. so its value should be in and around 2.5 million pounds now.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Why? Because the gentleman has become. The thing is also that he realized that because when he was out with the people, he was with them. He understands everything about them. So when he came to Africa, he has a better understanding of Africa. So he was looking at Ghana beyond Ghana. He was looking at Ghana at African platform. So when he established educational centers, he was inviting other African leaders to come to educate themselves here. So we had people like Samura Maches and the rest schooled here in Ghana at his university, free of education. So he started free education via the university led way back.
So I want to, because you're talking about his vision, especially outside the borders of Ghana. Well, other people also are saying that Ghana would have actually been in a better place if he had on the development of the country.
Do you believe that?
So there's one assertion that, for instance, just the Gambia, he gave them 10 million British pounds at the time in the 1950s thereabouts.
He didn't just do that for Gambia. When he established Akosombo, we were supplying 4 African countries power.
Exactly.
Including Burkina Faso, including Togo, and Benin and the rest.
Yes. So I'm just saying that had he, there's an assertion that if you build your home well, or you take care of it, because given that huge amount of money, then around this time, its equivalence is about 205 million pounds now. So at the time, had he focused on developing the country, had he focused on building infrastructures, you know, just the little things that he did with the limited amounts that he had from when we gained independence, we saw the trajectory that the country has been set on. The motorway is over 60 years old and is still functioning. We have the Akosombo Dam still functioning. We have Kwame Nkrumah University. There are quite a lot of things that are still functioning. So had he appropriated those funds to national development, wouldn't that have given Ghana a better hand or a better place to be able to help other African countries later?
So he's now talking like Kwame Nkrumah, who has just graduated from the University of England. So he's access to information, so he thinks somebody didn't think right. So let me take you back to a home where they have never tasted jollof rice. Okay? Then there's another home who have they always eat jollof rice, and most of the time their dogs are even fed up with eating jollof rice. So basically you're thinking like, if I have a lot of jollof rice in my house, and even my dogs are sick and tired of eating jollof rice, I'll be thinking, what about my neighbors? Have they tasted jollof rice? Why don't I share with them? That was what I was telling you about the lifestyle of the people, the culture of the people. It's centered more on a supporting system. So for example, Nkrumah built Tema Motorway. When he finished building Tema Motorway, the people he was with, his leaders, his administration, we call it his cabin members, were against the construction of the motorway, especially when after every 3 hours or 5 hours, one car would drive past the motorway. So they thought it was useless investment. When he has built Akosombo that has so much power and they don't know what we are using the power for, so he gave Kwame Nkrumah and everything, let me build more factories so that now the power could serve the purpose. You understand? And we produce so much that we cannot consume as a nation. So we have to now fall on other African countries and give to them or trade with them. When we have universities that cannot even occupy our own people, because you can count 5 people in the university, why don't I invite other people that needed it that I can give to them because we can afford it? So the motive was just simple. We are bringing light, illumination to the entire part of the body, which is the African continent. The head has seen the light. I think the hand must experience it, the tummy must experience it, the legs must experience it, so that the entire body will be illuminated, walk in light. It's an amazing vision. It's a beautiful plan. And that's what your people do not like, our colonial masters. They don't like. Why do you want to bring light to entire Africa? When I say light, it means illumination.
Yes.
They really do not like that.
So my
you understand what
I get it. But
so they don't want, and Ghana is under that illusion in the sense that we have so much. The country actually lacked nothing when nursings are going to colleges for free, teachers are going to colleges for free, health is cheap and they can afford it, and we have so much at hand. Universities are even free.
That was the life then.
Exactly. So what exactly is the problem? There was no problem. They were thinking, should we still build more motorways and wait for other cars to work on it? We don't need it. We have cocoa farms so huge that we are supplying more cocoas. And we just have few people. We sometimes have to depend on other African laborers to help us harvest some food stuff farm. Like Commander Sugar Factory, for instance. The central region was back then small. And so they invite people from other neighboring countries there to help harvest sugar cane, to process sugar at Commander Sugar Factory and all that. So we have so much that we can consume. We think, let's share. And so let's share with the people. Now let's develop Africa. So he started with the vision. United States of Africa. You've heard these like 1,000 times. I have speeches where he always addressed United States. He was the first person who summons all African leaders and called it United Nations, African Union, something before it became AU. So he started, summon all African leaders, come to Ghana. This is the vision we have. These are the things we are experiencing. These are the things we are enjoying as a nation. We want to experience the same thing. So tell us what you will need that we can support as a country. Somebody say, give me money, let me expand. Give me the human resource capacity. Okay, I give my people to you. Teach them how to plant cocoa, how to grow cocoa, and they become cocoa farmers. Teach them how to do rice farming. Okay, these people have the human resource skills. Let's give them funds to grow them. I don't like it.
Well, there is also an assertion the development was not really spread across the country. It was maybe in certain places. For instance, when you look at the northern part of Ghana, there wasn't much development.
There was no light, there was no water.
So why don't you focus on addressing these issues before you lend an upper hand?
But let me bring you back. No, it's good. We are discussing. Let me bring you back to the 21st century.
Okay.
So, for example, in the 21st century, we still have our government who say that this constitution, when we go and do plenty development project, is a waste of funds. So, baby and Nipano doors where the municipal can enjoy and recoup of our investment and put it back into the economy. So they go to certain places, like even in the 21st century, some villages there they still don't want to develop because you can handpick the people or count them. So in the days of Nkrumah, I still be the notion. You can count the number of people in the north, just few people, blah, 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 blah. So you think the capital is growing, so let's build the capital. So when it was moved from Cape Coast, let's build Cape Coast. Now let's build there. Now the Queen came and visited Ashanti. That's why they call it the something forest. What name did they call Kumasi those days? Kumasi has a very interesting name because of the trees. And so they have to develop those areas where it could help the country grow and develop faster. Then they have to look at the whole port. When they tell you the trade that goes on at Tema Port during Kwame Nkrumah's administration, you will laugh. But yet he did that. The whole port, and Ghana was doing that until we are exporting our cocoa or gold. Nothing else goes out of the port, but others used us. So you realize that his port expansion or his port establishments is focused more to support other African countries than the country itself. Because we are doing few transactions at the port, but Nigeria will need to do something, Guinea will need to do something, Togo will have to do something because he's helping the rest of the African countries.
Okay.
I think I want to buttress his point. The reason why Ghana or Accra is really choked is because of the not able to decentralize some of these industries in other regions.
Okay, so industries such as
the dam is here in Tema. If there was a dam up there, up north, there wouldn't be people coming to Accra because of light and the good living standard we have in Accra.
Okay, fortunately, I can say comfortably that virtually like all the 16 regions are enjoying electricity down to the 275 constituencies and other areas.
But the people are more now. The population is increasing.
People keep saying, I do not have the numbers, but the land Greater Accra is not choked at all.
The landmass of Greater
Accra. The landmass of Greater Accra.
No, you're talking about comparative to other.
I'm coming. So basically, Accra in itself, not Accra as a region, but Accra in itself, people just come crowded for the sake of economic activities and then they go back. So let me give you two areas, for example. I was running a survey, is part of the work I do, at a place in Accra called Tiptoe.
The Tiptoe Lane?
The Tiptoe Lane, amazing.
Is it a circle?
Circle, Tiptoe Lane, beautiful.
Good.
As early as 5:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock in the morning, the place is choked with over 10,000 people. Within the same time to 6 p.m. to 6:30 to 7 p.m., the place is a ghost town.
Okay.
Where do they go? So basically, the town is not choked. It is economical activity that bring the people together. So now we have to look at how we can now expand or open up trade so that people will not be crowded or choked at a particular location. But it's not because of settlement or stay. That's what I'm trying to say.
But the houses to live in are not there, actually.
In Accra?
Our argument may be that the way Accra was developed for Tiptoe Lane to attract 10,000 people at 5:30 a.m. Why don't we decentralize that kind of development?
Thank you very much. That's what I'm trying to say. So it is economical work. So let's get the same setup at probably like a place like Techiman or some place at Mamprou, like a place, so that the same activity will go on there. So somebody don't have to say, let me send my mobile phone to somebody or let me move all the way to Tiptoe Lane to come and see the latest phone in town. You don't have to do that.
All right, so we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about socio-economic activities pre-independence. Please stay.
Bye-bye.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
I welcome you back to the main segment of the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. We have a great historian, a lover of history in our midst today. He is in the person of Mr. Samuel Nati, and we are discussing the history of Ghana, pre-independence, post-independence, where we are now. All right, so let's get into the conversation again. Hiya.
So I think we have talked quite a lot about our economical activities more pre-independence, and we are trying to also discuss that also after independence or post-independence. I also want us to look at our social cultural lifestyle pre-independence. You know, I was actually trying to focus more on that. What is the way, how does the people live before independence, that is pre-independence, during the colonial masters era, and even after that and beyond that? How do they live? Is it because they are limited to information That is why they lived the way they live. Is it because they were timid? The colonial masters were invoking fear into them. That is why.
And the role of gender imbalance then, because on our currency, I don't see a woman there. And as part of the UGC,
on our 50 pesos, there's a woman.
There's a
right? That's kind
the role of women there.
They call it dedication.
Yes.
You know, few women were actually
financier for the CPP back then.
And she was powerful.
Okay.
Very powerful.
Now, the interesting thing is, if there are resources, okay, in every business there are 3 pillars of resources. 3 pillars. We have what we call financial resource, which you know that is money things. Then we have what we call material and logistics resource, the things that aid the things to done. Then we have human resource. But amazingly, all the 2 resources, the financial resource and then the logistics resource, they aid things to happen. But the only resource that always get things done is the human resource. It is the human being that always make things happen. It is all the human beings always that bring the change, that brings the movement, that brings the innovation. So when the thinking pattern is not right, when there are no creative thinking, when there are no innovative mindset, basically, irrespective of resources, whether in abundance or irrespective of their quantity, you can still do nothing with it.
Exactly.
Because the human beings that are going to transform them are not in the right state of thinking or do not have that capacity to do that. You understand that? So the social cultural lifestyle is as a result of the people, whether intimidation, whether our cultural lifestyle also could affect us in a way. You are a woman, so you are supposed to think in a particular direction. You are supposed to carry yourself in a particular way. You are supposed to do things because very soon you are going to be married. So women grow pre-independence with the mindset and the attitude. Even we are still struggling with these after independence in some cultures. The woman's place is, whether you like it or not, a wife, baby producer. A wife, baby producer. So carry yourself like that, talk like that, and think like that. Don't think beyond this. It is for the men to think in that direction. So women are not encouraged by our cultural practices, by our economical practices, not to think in a particular direction, because these things are for men to think, to consider expansion, to consider growth, to consider development in every area of life, be in the home, be outside the home, be in business, be industrialization. It is the men thing. So the women think we must just be there and watch them and appreciate them. That is all. So that way will not help us pre-independence. Okay? Now the men in another way also do not have access to information. Information makes people very powerful. So they don't know how we can think to process cocoa because they were limited to that. They don't know how we can think to process gold. They were limited to that. Because what is coffee? We don't even drink coffee those days. And so they wanted to, let's give it to them. And there are some herbs that contains some powerful medicinal purposes, and we do not know it. So we were even transported. So then we look at, my goat is chewing this, and these people are also coming to carry it away. Are they goats? You know, mindset, information access. So, and then literature. Our early ancestors, or before us, I don't know how they left information behind, and if they have left information behind, I don't know.
Was it not in books?
Early days, there were literature, they were writing, but the writing were mostly done on caves and on some books, some things. But the point is, what sort of information they left for us?
Okay.
So if information has been left for us, how did we also understood the information? Did we understand the information that was left for us?
Decoding the information.
Decoding became a challenge for us because, okay, somebody's saying something and somebody's saying another thing. Allow me to be sarcastic in this conversation, like a euphoria. So now listen. A chief invited a man and the wife to his party. Okay? So when the chief invited the man and the wife to the party, on the way going to the party, the woman menstruated. Okay? So the man couldn't continue the journey to the party, so she came home with the man and wrote, Nana, you know, in the early days too, we with parables, and sometimes we speak in with certain jargons. Many me yiri eban oboninsa enti antumiamba. So yes, he wrote it nicely. It's done. Nana understood oboninsa. Another person comes and he also said, this man could not attend to the king's party because when they were going, the wife, he was interpreting, broke the hand. It also fits into the content.
Yes.
Because if your wife broke the arm, there's no way you could leave her and go to a party. So you realize that a vital information has been mistranslated or misinterpreted, so it distorts it. So I think interpretation, translation, decoding the key word to get certain information that was left for us by our forefathers that could also enlighten us in the area of medicine, in the area of certain lifestyles. We couldn't get them right as a result of probably translation or interpretation, or something to be deliberate. People would want to distort it so that you wouldn't get the right message, because you are not the one translating and doing the right. They are doing it for you to read.
Well, so education way back then they saw as a threat, just like they saw
it was a threat. So let's talk about, for example, a practical example is like apartheid in South Africa. Look at what they do to education. Education is regulated and controlled by them. So what they want you to know is what you have to know. And any teacher that they see going beyond the curriculum or the academic calendar, you disappear. You say, wow.
So let's come back a little bit to Kwame Nkrumah and then the fight for independence, right? Because we are in Ghana month celebrating freedom. And talking about freedom, Kwame Nkrumah mentioned something profound in our fight against independence. He mentioned that freedom isn't one thing that another person can bestow upon another as a gift.
Okay.
I'm taking it again.
Okay.
He says that freedom
it's a direct quote from him.
Isn't one thing that another person
can
bestow on another as a gift. So I want us to actually propound on this in this particular fight for independence and what it means for us at the moment. Are we truly free, or we still depend on the gifts of others for freedom?
We spoke about something and I realized that it churns down. So that's why I'm trying to lay emphasis on the development of the people. And I was looking at it from what culture has done to build the people over the time. The information that we make available. Is it because we couldn't in literature document all the things that could enlighten or empower our people from generations till date? Or is it because we could not decode or translate or interpret them accurately as they could enlighten or empower us? Or is it because somebody deliberately decided to distort them so that we could not get the power from the information to make us what we are? But at the end of the day, we are also getting another level of education. We said Kwame Nkrumah had so much, he did very little. Okay, now he's left.
He didn't do very little. He did quite a lot.
What he could do.
He could have done much more better than he did, because there were so many places that he could have done better. Okay,
I think he had the plans to do better, but the circumstances with which he left didn't allow him to.
So then I ask you again, why do you think if Kwame Nkrumah would think, at this stage my country is okay, so let me help this country to come to my level. At this stage that country is getting better, let me help this country to get to that level. Because he was trying to touch every base.
It wasn't self-centered.
Thank you very much. He was building a nation called Africa. And not only that, he was investing in information sharing, he was investing in brainstorming, let's sit together, table reasoning, head to head, what is happening and all that. But the interesting thing is that now we have mass access of information. What have we done? After independence, in the area of economical activities, basically we are doing better. In the area of socio-cultural lifestyle, we're doing better.
So can we say we are still slaves? After freedom, we are still slaves.
Slaves is strong.
Even the better that we are doing, it's quite subjective. because if you understand the quality of life that people used to live then, and the quality of life that we are living now. Thomas Sankara said something. He said we had to choose between champagne for a few or water for all, and it looks as though the quality of life is probably, maybe someone can argue that it's champagne for a few, and then the few people have to now fight for the droplets of water that are coming out.
I love the question. Are we still slave? And I think slave is a strong word.
Okay.
But I want to agree with you in another area. When Mandela came out of prison, he made a statement. He said two things. I'll quote the first one. He said, I want to leave my hatred, my pain, my anger, and my vengeance behind these walls. If I carry them beyond these walls with me, I will be walking a free man, yet I am a prisoner. Now, there was also another actor. His name is Wesley Snipes, an actor in America. He made a statement I love so much. He said,
Wesley Snipes from Blade?
From Blade.
Yes.
He said people can still be slave in their mind.
Okay.
So you have the opportunity to physically move around and engage anybody to anywhere, eat anything you want to drink, and that is amazing freedom because you make decision on yourself. But you are a slave in a particular way that there are certain things that is holding your ability of becoming a creative thinker, thinking outside the bigger box, to see things beyond the way you see them, to understand things the way you understand them, and to think things much better or in a different way than the way you can do them. But something is holding your mind because of certain level of information or certain access of information, or the way your brain has been programmed to think either by yourself, by your environment, or by people.
So serious discussion. Interesting discussion.
So what I'm gathering,
this discussion should be continued.
What I'm gathering is that freedom is not necessarily the absence of shackles.
Fantastic.
But rather the emancipation of your
So that was why the late Bob Marley quoted, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Rather, that is the state we are in. The physical slavery is gone. Mental slavery has become bigger than the physical slavery.
Was it because of the looking at that? Can you subject that to the kind of educational system that we have placed in?
What is our level of control in our educational system?
Well, it looks as
at the universities, what all the courses we are reading at our universities, name one author or two authors who are Ghanaians that actually have authored business management, financial accounting, engineering, oil and gas. Which of them? Let me tell you another funny story. We discovered oil under former President Kufuor's administration, and our first extraction was under Mills' administration. Okay. So we had people who were actually training the people, whites, training blacks or working together with blacks and working at the Jubilee Field. How many years down the line? From Mills' administration to now, it's over 20-something years. The question I wanted to ask is, why hasn't black taken over from that? Because how many years does it take to serve a university course? 4 years. Then you do 1 year service, and you're a full graduate. If you further to become master of what you have studied, you do a 2-year master course. So 7 years, you should be amazing. So let's say, so 7 years, you are master of your field, either in maths, either in science, or anything. So if I could serve with somebody for 10, 15, 20 years, and he still tells me I'm incapable of doing the things they are doing, then what are they teaching me? I could pass out 4 years from the university. I could do 2 years masters, and on the practical field, I could not pass out in 10 years to take over my oil field.
Well, with that, there are so many elements that come to play in terms of capacity development. Talking about the one aspect of capacity development, I think, is the human capital development, which you mentioned properly. But now, after developing your human capital, you have to now develop equipment, machinery to be able to extract. After doing that, you'd have to now develop the trading ability.
So you are looking at the logistics.
Yes.
Taking over, for example, now, why am I completely taking over my cocoa mining? Because that is a farmer thing. They can do it. I've Have we completely taken over our gold mining?
No.
No, we haven't.
Have we completely taken over our Jubilee field oil extraction? Why? Is it because we haven't gotten the human resource capacity? No. Logistics. We still import combined harvesters to do farming. We still import the rest of the logistics. So if about logistics and I can't manufacture logistics, I still can buy it on whatever trade terms and use it to work on my oil field. So if it's about logistics, again, I can buy it on whatever trade terms and still do my mining. Then I have my control. Then I dictate the price I do. Or we can come to a beautiful arrangement, partnership. Why is it not working like that? So you ask, come back to your mental slavery. Is it present or is it still absent? Your Majesty, I ask, Nana.
Oh, it is present.
Well,
it looks like we are still dependent on our colonial masters.
The population of the world was approximately 8 billion, and it is more. We have African countries, it's like 45, Asia 43. We have about approximately 150, 200 countries that constitutes the 8 billion population. Only 2 countries, produces the world, 80% of the world consume cocoa. 80% of the world consume cocoa by 8 billion people, and that is Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana.
Right now, China is even on the rise.
The question is that what have we done? Nigeria is considered the 6th largest oil explorer in the world, and in Europe. What have we done? So I said, if the human being has not been processed, the mind has not been processed, it doesn't matter the quantity of the resource or the logistics, you can do nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Pre-independence, what information process us to become better people? After independence, what information is still processing us to make us better? It is only the human resource capacity that gets things done, that brings changes, that brings transformations, that brings development. It is not the logistics, it is not the money. They only aid things to happen, but human beings make things happen. So now when the human beings have not been programmed well, they have not been refined well, they have not been developed and improved well, the money could still be there, the resources could still be there. What exactly are we going to process them or transform them to become? Nothing.
All right, so that's it about history. Let's talk about the way forward now.
I mean, it's Ghana man. We should be in a celebratory mood. But talking about emancipation and
the celebration mood is that we are like, let's drink the wine and let's drink the beer and let's drink the whiskey. Let's merry make. Let's go home and sleep. The next morning we wake up, then we start complete again. And this is this, and the city is dying, and it's so pleased. So one day, can we skip the let's drink the wine, let's drink the whiskey and the beer for the celebration, and look at how we are going to hold something and change something?
Maybe
just like they are doing for the 68th independence.
Yes, maybe today we want to celebrate some past heroes and all that. That would actually put us a little bit in check, in a better mood.
Yeah, okay, so let's look at after independence. After independence, it's an amazing thing we also have to look at.
Yes.
You know, Kwame Nkrumah, let's bring euphoria Akakla so that we get out of there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Because I mean, thinking about these things,
it breaks you.
You
know, I told you that we have spent 26 years or more after from 1966 to 78, 79 when Jerry took over with the military regime. And that has also put the country in an unstable situation. Like there is coup 2 years, there is coup 3 years, there is coup, then we destroy this, we start this, we destroy this, we start this, until we got to the Fourth Republic, of which Jerry again became a democratic leader and a president from 1992, I guess, to 2008, 2009.
No, 2000.
To 2000.
Then Kufo.
Okay, so when he did that, what are some of the things you think we can remember Jerry for in that period? Celebrating heroes, you know.
Yes,
he's one of the heroes.
Yes, that's a tight spot has been
Please try and make me
But
something.
majority of the period, and maybe I may not have been born. Which is, you need to help me.
Okay, so popular thing, the June 4th movement.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is why we call him Dr. Boom when he gave the speech.
I think you have to
You
give
have
us
to educate us a little bit on that particular. Because I mean, all the report that I gathered, I didn't gather for June 4th. I gathered for pre-colonial, and then
because so I wanted us, we let's
time is limited, so you want to touch on that a bit.
then, so he's popularly known for Dr. Boom, but he helped road expansion, infrastructure development, and then health. I remember there was a time before Kufuor has to take administration from him. He was asking, "Na law requiring cry yedi." You remember, because he's seen much development in the infrastructure sector, and it baffles him, and he's now trying to see that, man. Instead of saying the truth, Charlie, why are they? He just want to,
I mean, this is called political points.
So let's look at Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's statement. Ghana, your beloved country is free forever.
And then another says independence is meaningless unless it is extended to the entire African continent.
Yes.
Amazing speech. And that is when he said that on his speech, our colonial masters thought it was a jubilation, a celebration, until when he finished the power. Then he extended to 4 African countries. Togo is happening, Burkina Faso and the rest. And no, the guy meant it. Then he's helping Guinea to get independence. Then he's supporting Nigeria. Then he's going and being a challenge. This guy, he meant what he wanted to do. So let's stop them. But let's not talk about that anyway. Let's celebrate heroes. So he's done well. What can you remember President Mills?
As some J.
Fantastic. Father for all. And one of the things he done, he championed was he was able to put an end to for near not for school. Schools under trees. It was amazing thing.
Another thing too that I actually fondly remember him for was when he stormed customs unannounced.
Charlie man.
To actually
so these are the things we are looking at. The brain work.
Yeah.
And for the first time he customs and came out, what happened? They met their target before I think first half. So you see, so it's the mind, it's not the resource, it's the people.
Then let me now ask you the question now. What do you remember Kufuor for?
I remember Kufuor for 2 things.
Okay.
Number 1, Hotel Wawa.
Okay. That's interesting.
You get it?
Yes.
And then number 2, Kufuor Gallon. We had challenges with.
No. Not a challenges. Not a challenges.
Another beautiful thing is Dr. Epic.
Yes, Dr. Epic. Yes. You remember the song? From July 2007, our money go change. We go carry less money for our business transaction. There is no change value. The money is the same. These are things that I can relate to.
So I can relate into that and Hippic. Without him, so we went to Hippic and we came back. And that's amazing. And then the funny thing, Kufuor Gallon, how can a gallon be named after your president? And it has now become the name of the gallon till date. It's amazing. It's amazing. And you can also remember after him, before that, current president Dr. John Mahama came before because he served Mills last 6 months before his own term. And what can we remember him for? Dr. Dumso.
I mean, because we can remember him from the Ridge Hospital.
I like the euphoria aspect of before.
And then you like the other aspect.
He can be known for Circle Interchange, amazing work.
Dubai.
He can also Dubai. He can also be remembered for Ridge Hospital and then UDS, other expansions. He did well, amazingly well. But what makes him very popular is Dumso.
Let's keep
we said the beautiful thing, then we say what has made him popular.
Okay, well,
you know that.
Let's see.
And then we come to
Showboy.
Nana Akufo-Addo. What can you remember him for example?
So what I can remember him for is
free
water.
Free SHS, amazing.
Free water during the
what district
COVID.
or factory?
Hey, be careful.
No, but the beautiful thing is, so free SHS is all mark.
Agenda 111.
Then, apart from free SHS, we can remember him of the one who say, "Media miya kokurao mindi musika." You know, I like that statement. So,
and then also Calipo.
And then finally, when he became president, he would go back to the same people say, sorry, now you know, these are the things.
Yeah.
But they are all heroes. They have. I like an account statement. They said, "Bema be happy." No matter what, human beings, we are not infallible. We are always capable of making mistakes. Beautifully, we can make the mistakes. We correct ourselves and we learn from it. So he's done something. He's also made some mistakes. He's made some shortfalls, but he's made some impact as well. Others will also come. They will make their shortfalls and yet it will still make impact. These are the things we are looking at.
Yeah, Beatrice, do we still have some more time? Our time is up. I wanted us to touch on. I wanted us to touch on something that is very pivotal in Ghana's history. I wasn't born then. 1983. I heard there was famine.
There was famine. All right, on that famine note, this is where we end the segment, the main segment of the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. You'll be saying this and more, so you would want to stay through all our episodes for the month of March. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to Mr. Samuel Nati, a great historian. Yes, thank you so much. Anayao, thank you so much. Without you, we couldn't have done this. I'm so grateful that you stay tuned to CLOG TV's Cocoa Digest. Have a nice day and enjoy Ghana Month.
CLOG TV, beyond the policy.